touch your nose, touch your other nose. You so had to think about that. And what you're doing is, you're saying to the audience, you are going to have license to enjoy yourself. It's going to be a fun activity, but I will be watching you. So, this is sign language. There was a man. Can you do this with me? Everybody do this with me. Don't laugh. I'm watching. Okay? There was a man. There is a purpose to this, and you'll understand afterwards. There was a man. Everybody do this. I know where you live. There was a man, and he was tall. Show me. He was tall, and he was strong, and he was a wise and a holy man. And he lived in India. He was called a Brahmin. What was his name? Brahmin. And he was tall, strong, and he was good and kind. But as he walked amongst all of the trees, do it. As he walked, don't look worried. As he walked amongst the trees, he listened. And as he read at his book, he heard a tiger, and he recognized its voice. And he heard the tiger scream, "Ah!" like this. Now, if you were feeling sleepy, you are not feeling sleepy now. Okay? Can you do that with me? And the tiger roared. Can I tell you something? Recently, I was at a conference with 500 teachers, and you were louder than all of them. There's this thing, like, grown-ups go, I'm not going to do that. It was a kind of and they all roared. It was like, Let's try that again. And they roared. Now, he was a wise man. Can you show me? Clever, like this. He was a wise man, and he would read the scriptures, and he knew for certain that if he was to stand in front of a tiger, the tiger would eat him. Can you do that with me? The tiger would eat him. And there he walked between the trees, and he saw there was a cage. Now, the cage was iron, and it was rusty, and he walked towards it, and there he could see the tiger. Great, strong shoulders, huge pads, paws and claws, and there it was, just about to roar, and it looked and it said, oh, hello. Can you do that with me? Oh, hello. Hello. You do that so well. Can I just say, it's much posher here than I remember it. But this is the way. And he went, ah, hello. And I say stone. Is it pierda? Say a stone? Yeah, pierda. Say. You've got to say stone the way I say stone. Same as me. You ready? After 3, 1, 2, 3. Stone. Stone. Is that what I sound like? Stone. Stone. Okay, like this. And as he kicked the stone, he said, stone. Stone. Do you think the tiger should eat me? There was a beggar. And the beggar heard him and said, why do you cry? He told of the tiger. He told of the stone, the road and the tree. Do that with me. The stone, the road and the tree. And the tiger looked and smiled and said, the beggar looked and said, I will help you, but if I help you, you must be my friend. The Brahmin said, yes. Can you do that with me? Yes. Now the two of them walked along. The tiger said, no. I was walking along. Can you do that with me? I was walking along. I smelt the food, saw the cage, went inside, and the cage door slammed. Wait for it. The cage door slammed shut. That cage there, that's too small. You would never go inside of there. The tiger said, yes, I would. And he put a pad and a paw and a claw inside. Did that with me. A pad, a paw and a claw inside. Well done. To see a Brahmin and a beggar walking together. They shared food. They shared a roof above their heads. And they lived long and well. And that's a story. Thank you very much. Well done, you. So, one of the hardest things, now I know that some of you were wondering why I was doing that. Hello, you might have to sit over here. That's okay. I've got to tell you something. The reason why I did this, the hands, what happened at the beginning of the story? What happened at the beginning of the story? And he was tall. And he was strong. And what was he doing? Reading. And now I do not have to tell you again, because you've done the actions. And for recall, but recollection, which is what we keep saying to children, what happened at the beginning of the story. And you've done this. You've embedded a physical action into what they do. Does that make sense, yes? So, okay, in that case, what happened in the middle of the story?
With the tree.
And what happened with the tree?
The wind.
The wind blew. What did the wind do? It spoke to him. How did it speak? With a whisper. Because you've done it. And what happened at the end? The two of them walked hand in hand and everyone gasped. You're so ready. We'll just told a story. In all languages, you'd say to them, there are 5 questions. They all start with a W and an H, or a W and a H, and I wonder, who could tell me one of those questions? Who knows what one of the questions might be? Who could tell me? And they look at you going, why is he shouting at me? And then somebody gets it. So, who could tell me one of those questions? Who? I like the way that you... Okay, so whoever it was who said it looks and goes, that's my answer. I said that one. These questions, I wonder, I'll ask you. Why? That's it. Well done, you. You know something? I've gone and written your answer in the same colour. There's only one left, and I have no idea when I'm going to find that. I love the fact that you all smile like this. And exactly the same with children. Because what you're doing is you're pretending you do not know what it is.
Plastic bag over there.
This plastic bag here, this one? Okay. And what you're going to do is this, okay? Who could have this? Where would they be? What would they use it for? Why and when? Okay? And I'll show you how you can do this. There was a man, he was tall and strong, with a smile upon his face, and he was standing in the middle of the jungle. He looked about him. He thought to himself, what can I do with all of the filth and rubbish upon the ground? And bit by bit, he went around and he picked it up. And he could see that now it was clear. And in that place, he knew that the animals could slip and slither, creep and crawl. He had been in this place for many years. And with every year that passed, more rubbish was on the ground. And he'd made it inside of his heart that he would pick things up and take them away. And now, as the sun was trying to come through all of the trees, he smiled and thought to himself, at least one animal has been saved today. And that's a story, yes? But, can I tell you something? I don't usually get applause. Oh, you Latins! Somos Latinos. Oh, yeah. Looking like this. Because and it's really sweet, but they will remember that. So, there's a song, it's on YouTube, and it's called, surprisingly, Who, Where, What, Why, Don't Forget, When. Okay? It goes like this. Who, where, what, why, don't forget when. I'll tell you a story I can't wait to begin. Very easy. You don't have to sing it. Put it on YouTube and they'll hear me singing it. But I'm just going to find out whether you're awake or not. I'm going to sing you some stories and you've got to guess them, okay? Don't shout out. Teachers are the worst for shouting out, by the way. No gritar. Here we go. There once was a girl with golden curly hair. She ate some porridge, broke a little chair. She went to bed as quiet as a mouse, and when she woke up, she was a girl with golden curly hair. And then you make them slightly more difficult. And you're illustrating how they should write at different ages. And even when I've been working with 18, 19-year-olds, they try not to, but they like that song as well. So, but to understand the full structure of what a story needs, you group these together, and the writing process, can you see there? Is that right? The writing process is how. And if you've got 5 questions, do it. I'm so pleased you're here. If you've got 5 questions, If you've got 5 questions, you should have 5 answers, like this. Show me 2 handfuls of fingers, like this. So if there's 5 questions, and you don't always show the young ones this. You just show them 4. It's okay, you can stop now. There was a little boy the other day, I said, close your eyes. But whether, and the point that you both made, was whether it had any relevance. This thing of he was big, little. He was fat, small. He was long, wide. What you've got to do is you've got to use ones that are relevant. But we forget what description does. Close your eyes, everybody. And in the distance, golden eyes. And you would do it like this. Tell me something else about that fish. So what kind of fin, sorry? No, what kind of red? Shiny red? Blood red. And you do this. I think it was it with this group here and over here? The children should get used to the idea of you always being at their ear saying, I will not. Is this story going to have a happy ending or a sad ending? And you say, everybody stand up. And you will vote. You're so ready again. You sit down and say, if you want to have a happy ending, sit down now. You tell them it's an election, like the elections. Because with the little ones, you'll say, happy or sad ending, they'll go, happy. Do you want it to be sad? Sad! Like this. Well, it's got to be one or the other. Happy, sad. Like this. So, I'm going to show you another thing that you can do. And you write out the alphabet in this way. And this works with every single story I can possibly think of. But let's think of like a fairy story, a traditional fairy story. Somebody think of one?
Rapunzel.
Rapunzel. What I'm going to do is, together, we're going to do this, and then I'm going to ask you to try and do this in your groups. What I'm going to say is, we're going to think of words that start with the letters of the alphabet that relate to the story of Rapunzel. Now, if you're not sure of Rapunzel, it is where she was born, and to keep her away from everyone else, she was put in a tall tower. The witch was given her because the miller had sort of like stolen something from the witch's garden. She kept her in a high tower. She had long hair. The witch would climb up her hair, and then the prince saw her, and he fell desperately in love. You horrible lot, you're supposed to go, ah. My mother told me there would be hard days like this. I just did not expect so many. Okay. And then he climbed. But listen to this. I'm going to say, if I could, I would have written that in yellow. But I've written it in purple. And whoever said that goes, that's my word. And what have you done? You're not saying to the children, I want you to go and get a dictionary. You're saying to them, we are looking at initial sounds, initial letters. Maybe not phonic blends, but just the initial letters. And if they say those words, hopefully they know what they mean. You are working with their vocabulary. Does that make sense? What are we doing though? We're having fun. We're playing with words. So ground, yeah. Excellent. H, I'll ask you. Not horse, I love the idea. What kind of a horse?
White horse.
Thank you. Absolutely fantastic. They're usually like, I'm not doing that. And that's how you would do it. And what you're doing is you're putting it into context. Yeah, you're never ever saying that's wrong. But I know what you say. Are you maybe saying like something inappropriate?
No, just really.
What about this?
The child can't explain how it would fit into the story.
Okay, say. There's no reason why there couldn't be rabbits by the side of the castle. Yeah, and it's still.
That's not what the child's thinking. The child is just.
You've said that word. You're giving them praise for that, and you're showing them how to manipulate ideas. And that is what a story is. As I say, you have been fantastic. But look, Rapunzel was alone in that place with long blonde hair at the side of the castle. She felt desolate. The days seemed endless. It was frightening when she looked down at the ground, but then she saw a horse. The prince said, "What are you doing in this isolated place? I have made such a journey. My king is kind, but I cannot find a key to get into this place. And your hair is so long, and you are so miserable." She said, "There's a nasty old witch who keeps me in this palace, and you are the prince." Her voice was quiet, but she started to raise a smile, and he took it upon himself that he would usually go by that place. He was very, very, very willing to get to that place. And when he got to the top, he gave her such an excellent kiss that they were so young. And after he had fallen, and after everything had gone so badly for them, he lay down and she smiled and she could hear him fall fast asleep. Is that a story? Yes? It is really like a parlour trick, like a Victorian parlour trick, but it works. It is not the complete story. And you may... Oh, sorry. Oh, that's it. You're all paying attention. I need to introduce this, an animal that starts with a W.
Walrus.
A walrus, okay, that was a walrus, okay. And you would emphasise why have I written it in a small letter? Because it's a common noun, it's not a proper noun. With the young ones, you do 3. So let's do this in 2 ways. What we're going to do is this, and this is how you take everything that we've done so far and put it into practice to make a story. Why and when. Like this. So we have the 5 questions, and I say, and you do it in this way. And this first part would be the total of 1 session. You do not do all of this in one go. You would say, we are going to do this. We have looked, and it sounds like this. At the edge of this crowded village, with the clean air washing about him, this old man looked with tender eyes at his grandchildren playing in the open park. He'd been here many times before, and he always sat comfortably, and he smiled to himself and found it so hard as the clock chimed yet again, as the leaves came down from the oak tree, and he could hear his name called, because he knew he would have to take these children away from the park. Te amo, ¿dónde están mis pantalones? With us English, we are so punctual. You have been fantastic. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you.